This is a huge thrill for me because I'm with one of my good friends, Mr. Paddy Hopkirk. Now, I love this guy, and I can't believe that I get to stand here and talk to this guy again. Paddy, how you doing, man?
Great, thank you. You're very warm. Welcome, thank you.
He's been very humble.
I don't believe him.
He's been very humble and gracious this whole time, but he's here at the Magar booth. And Paddy, how long have you been with Magar, and can you tell us a little bit about Magar?
Well, Magar is a truly American-owned company by the Macaulay family in Buffalo, New York, and they got in touch with me to help sales. They've got our subsidiaries in Japan and in Europe, and I help sell their locking wheel nuts to the motor industry.
Now, Paddy, tell me a little bit about your relationship with Chris Harper and Minisport and the parts and things you guys are manufacturing and building. And
well, Chris is a family business again, lovely guy from the north of England, got a wonderful team, and he sells accessories and bits and pieces and parts for the new and the old, mainly the old classic minis. And this is where you get them in America. And I've worked with Chris for a long time, and he's a very nice guy, and he does projects. Some of the projects carry my name, some of them don't. That doesn't really matter. And he's keeping, if anybody wants to get classic mini parts, he's got everything. So the brand is not fading away like De Chevaux or something. It's still going, and you've done a great job promoting it in the States.
Thank you very much. Paddy, can you tell me about your first automobile experience, your first car? What was that like for you, and what is it?
Well, when I was 9, which is a long time ago, during the war, let's talk about the war, in Northern Ireland, and there was a clergyman lived next door to me, and he was very ill, and he died, and he left me his car. It was a 2-seater invalid carriage with a tiller steering and a motorcycle engine in the back, 250 Jap engine, driving one wheel.
Oh dear.
Brakes only on the back, and I was keen on mechano sets and mechanical things, and I drove it around in a estate near our house in Northern Ireland. Every time you put the brakes on, the rear came around.
Oh dear.
So that sort of teaches you the handbrake turn. But it was great fun. And anyway, I left Northern Ireland, came over to England, and it got scrapped. And I was on the BBC one evening on a show at Monte Carlo time, and he said, how did you start? And I said, I had this bath chair, they call them, the invalid carriage, called a Harding. And below, you wouldn't believe, somebody rang up the BBC the next morning and said he restored old motorbikes and he thinks he has a Harding. So I went down to in London, I went down to his house, and he had motorcycles in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the dining room. His wife was going mad, all these motorbike men. And he said, over there in the corner, he said, there's a thing with a Harding in. And I went over and I looked in the box, and there was the number plate, IJ9670.
Oh dear.
My car.
That was your car?
So I've had it restored, and it's wonderful.
And you still own it to this day?
Yes.
So if we come visit you at your house, you can show us your first car?
Absolutely. You can have it driving it. If it starts.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Paddy, for your stories. This is wonderful.
That's true.
Yeah. You think that car is what gave you the bug for the automobile, or taught you how to drive?
Well, I think if you start doing anything at 9 years of age, you're usually better. If you start skiing or anything, usually better at it, and I wasn't much good at anything else. And there's a very famous cook in England called Mary Berry, and that's her.
Mary Berry.
With me in the car last year.
Oh, there's Brian Johnson.
I've got the video. You've seen that video, haven't you?
Oh, it's great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been to the Paddy Hopkirk School of Driving, and it's the best fun I've ever had with me clothes on. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce the star of the show, Mr. Paddy. Look at the size of my gentleman's vegetables, Hopkirk.
My young
He's the
protege.
greatest.
He's very good. He's good.
Paddy,
Well done.
I'll never forget this day, as
we
long as
say
I
in
live.
Northern Ireland, you drive well.
His gentleman's vegetables.
That was Bernie Eccleston, and I say, you say, who's that? Everybody knows. And I say, well, he drives a car that doesn't fit our locks. And that's what happened to it in London. That's true.
There's Bernie.
Yeah.
Paddy, you are such a great individual and just a wonderful ambassador to the Mini and to our culture and, you know, just to the human race, because you're just a great guy and we love you. Thank you for your time today. This has been fantastic. My dear friend Paddy Hopkirk, couldn't be happier. Thank you, Paddy.
Thank you. You're a good friend.